Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching this video. Welcome back to the channel for season 4 of The Biggest Transformation. I am your guest host tonight, Nakia Dollar, along with my cohorts from season 3, recent graduates of The Biggest Transformation, Trisha and Stuart. We're here to cheer you on and talk to you about a topic that honestly can, when you implement the skill of not doing this, is going to transform the results that you get from this season. It's about the gray zone, but I know you're really excited about hearing about what the standings are. So real quick, let's go through, let's get your weigh-ins. You ready? Jen Ranchford, 177.4. Krista, 116.6.
Janine, 196.4.
224.3.
Kayla, 133.6. 230. Paula, 171.1.
Melissa Hager, 211.2.
Kristen Taylor, 287.2.
Let's talk about standings, shall we? All right. In first place, with 5.2 pounds released this week, total so far of 11.41%, Kristen. In second place, with 2.4 pounds released this week, 9.6% of her starting weight, Kayla. In third place, with 3.3 pounds released, 9.56% of her start weight, Paula. In fourth place, with 1.2 pounds released this week, 9.47% of your starting body, Crystal. In fifth place, with 2.4 pounds released this week, 9.29% of your starting weight, Jennifer. In sixth place, with 0.8 pounds released this week, 8.01% of starting body weight, Aisha. In seventh place, with releasing 1.6 pounds, a total of 7% even, Janine. In eighth place, releasing 1.2 pounds this week, 6.03%, Sarah. In ninth place, releasing 4.8 pounds this past week, that's the second highest weight loss this week, with a total of 5.96% released. That is Melissa. And in 10th place, gaining 0.8 of a pound. Overall, still losing so far 10.4 pounds at 5.53%, Jen. So total this week for the 10 of you is 22 pounds. And so far in 7 weeks, ladies, you are rocking it with 178.2 pounds released with the 10 of you. Now, I know that as you guys are getting in, you finished 7 weeks of the biggest transformation. And I trust that you're starting to build some routines and healthy habits. And tonight's topic is really is critical. And I think the timing of it that Carmen put into when you get this message is so important. So tonight's topic it's called the gray zone. Well, you know what the gray zone is? It's a little fudge here. It's a little bit there. It's maybe I'll skip out on my workout before the stretches, or maybe I'll just add just a little bit more chicken into this red, or in the green, in the blue container, put a couple of extra nuts if you're using that for your healthy fat. Or maybe your water. I think I got enough water in. It's close enough. So the gray zone is that space that, honestly, y'all, it's the excuse that we give ourselves, right? I'm close enough. It's almost there. Well, tonight we've got myself, Trisha, and Stuart talking about, we broke it into 3 categories: your water, your workout, and your food. Now, we know that it's all of those things combined together that make this process successful, like a 100% success rate. Everyone that follows this process, this program, loses weight. Now, you can decide whether or not you're interested or committed in really taking it all the way and to becoming the best version of yourself and in your right size body. So we're going to ask Trisha to step up and talk about food, because you know, you're not just what goes in your mind, you're absolutely what goes in your mouth.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome to the meeting. I hope that I can encourage and inspire all of you tonight with my words, because words are seed. If I can help even just one of you, then I know that I will have succeeded at my part in hosting tonight. When we all started this commitment, we committed to a plan. So if you don't stick to this plan and you start to waver, you're no longer being exact, and you will start to be ordinary instead of extraordinary. You will then be entering the gray zone, and it will end up being an experiment. I don't know if Carmen has talked to you guys much about her experiments and her chocolate cake story. I'm going to save that story for her to tell you if you haven't heard it. But when you start inserting things like maybe what you want to do, what you think you should do, what you feel like doing, because you know, you've been doing it already for 6 weeks and you got this, you know what you're doing, right? Well, following someone else's directions, especially as adults, is really hard. And I know for me, starting out, it was very hard when I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to be seeing. So I started inserting my own things. And probably about where you guys are right now, I started noticing that, you know, I was feeling confident. And hey, it's just a red and a green, right? They're your veggies and your proteins. So, you know, you just scoop it on your plate. And yeah, that's about a cup, right? Or yeah, that's probably a teaspoon. Well, the scale started slowing down on my loss. And wasn't going so well. So I had to get back on being exact. It was time to stop being ordinary, get out of the gray zone, and get back to what I was supposed to be doing. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys is after Christmas, it was kind of our downward slope, and I knew that our time was running out, and I started freaking out. So I thought, I'm stressing because I'm scared to death. I'm not going to lose the weight that I wanted to. I'm not going to hit my goal by the end of our 24 weeks. So I'm not sleeping good. I started not getting all my water in. Why? Because I wasn't really paying attention. I tried skipping my carbs, thinking that, well, if I don't eat carbs, because I know carbs are bad for me because my body just sucks them up and hangs on to them, that, I'll just skip it and then it'll help the scale go down and it'll go down faster. And a lot of the time what happened is I knew that I hadn't eaten my carb. So by the end of the night, I was still kind of hungry. And then I ended up eating my carb anyways. Well, by that time, it's late at night when I shouldn't be eating, and it may have even been out of my 12-hour window. My fear of the carbs was just really getting the best of me, and it ended up all being a really big mess. I failed at it, and all of those inserts were a fail. I either gained a little bit when it was weigh-in, or I stayed the same. And yes, I got the call from Carmen wanting to know what was going on, and I had to explain all this to her. So I hope that by me giving you my examples, it will help you guys to just follow the plan, build your solid foundation, and you get those 2 steps forward and you're doing really good. And then you think that you want to, I'll just have a bite of that fudge, or I'll just have, a lick of that, whatever. Well, then you're ruining that foundation. And you end up taking a step back. And if you really just stay the course, every pound adds up, and it adds up quicker than you think. It might only seem like 1.5 pounds here, 2 pounds there, but let me tell you, over 2 or 3 weeks, all of a sudden you're 10, 15 pounds down. That's huge. So just try to not fall in those gray areas and risk taking steps back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trisha. Man, I really appreciate that you broke it down for us, especially as it relates to our food, because it's in the margins sometimes where we'll find that those little bits kind of add up and they work against us when we're not following the plan. Something that you said that I really appreciated was when you were talking about making sure that you get your supplements in. The reason why this plan includes those supplements is because it's part of our nutritional support. And then, oh man, what was it? There was something else you said that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned. I hope you guys are taking really good notes, because Brent, you was really dropping some amazing nuggets there. You think about how we're appreciate this whole process, and we're growing each and every week with our opportunities to get better around our food. And if the scale isn't doing what you want it to do, go back and look at what you're putting in your mouth and make sure that you have a plan. That's why prep week was so very important, to take an entire week to get an understanding of the plan, your workouts, all of those things. It's all part of it. And if you fail to plan, you're almost planning to fail. We're going to bring up Stuart Lynn to share his key takeaways as far as the gray zone around exercise. So go for it, Stuart. Take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Nakia, thanks so much, man. It's been an honor to come alongside Nakia and Trisha and the other participants in season 3. So prior to plugging into a biggest transformation, I was 312 pounds. In these 24 weeks, I've lost 75 pounds, and it's just been an amazing ride alongside Nakia and Trisha and the other participants. So thanks so much for you guys coming alongside me and helping me through this journey. And it's an honor to be here with season 4. 178 pounds in 7 weeks. That is phenomenal. That's awesome. So I'm just glad I'm able to spend a few minutes with you guys. As far as exercise goes, there's a few points I'd like to talk to you about. But before that, Nakia mentioned something very powerful about nutrition. Something as far as the gray area and going into it, I had no idea. I remember in the beginning, Carmen said, you do your shake and do your recover, and it counts as a protein. Somehow I kind of, I want to say manipulated, but I somehow decided, well, instead of doing those 2 proteins, I can just save them up and have 2 regular proteins. So I substituted those for some meat. So I'd save it to the end of the day in case I wanted, kind of hoarding almost, and did that for several weeks. And my mentor found out, Matthew, and he Marco Polo me and pretty much told me, what in the heck was I doing? Those are there for a reason. And making myself do those shakes changed a lot for me, because there's nutrition, there's those vitamins, there's different things in those shakes that really help curb your appetite. And so that was something that I kind of inadvertently did for a while, and it definitely did not help with my weight loss and all. So that was something on the nutrition side. But what I want to talk to you guys about is on exercise. And several, I spent probably the first half of my first season in the gray zone with exercise. And once I finally, we had this discussion and we had this gray zone talk in our group, it totally changed how I thought of things and kind of got me on the right track. And that's what's helped me lose the weight I've been able to lose. But the one thing right off the bat that I started doing in the beginning was not sticking to the exact workouts. Carmen told us ahead of time, we had, pick your workouts to work out 6 days a week. And I got going, and for whatever reason, I wouldn't stick to the exact workout, or I knew Sunday was my day off. And Wednesday I was tired because I stayed up late Tuesday working and whatnot. And I would make that my new day off. And that's getting the gray zone, because then, you're not planning for it. You're planning a different day off than you had. So that was something I did early on. Another thing I did is, as the workouts progressed, I would not be good at something or didn't want to do it. And so I would just skip that part of the workout and said, I'll just make it up and I'll just do something else later on. That was something else in the gray zone that did not help me achieve my goals. And last and not least, when it came to the workout, I would get to where if I wasn't losing the weight I thought I lost 1 week, I decided, well, I shouldn't be lifting too many weights because it's building muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. So I would start doing more cardio. That's not part of the plan. And at the end of the day, doing those things did not help me get to my goal. And what we're doing here is not on trial. Carmen has lost weight and has kept it off, not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, for many years. And this is not up for trial. What Carmen does works. And we can sit here and try to tweak it and do different things, but at the end of the day, that's not part of the plan. And so I would encourage you, the sooner that you put your mind to it and you say, this is the plan, I'm going to stick with it, and come hell or high water, I'm going to do this for 24 weeks. And at the end of the 24 weeks, then you can evaluate and do anything you want to do and tweak. But for this 24 weeks, do exactly what Carmen's saying. It's done for a reason. And it's been, sticking with that these last season half has really helped me get to where I want to go. And again, I just encourage you guys to stick with the plan and stay out of the gray zone and just follow the plan. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Nakia. Again, thanks so much for hosting tonight, Nakia. It's been an honor to work alongside you and see you drop these pounds left and right. So thank you guys again, and looking forward to the rest of season 4. Good luck, guys.
Awesome. Thank you much, Stuart. Man, I really appreciate your contribution. It is, I don't know if you've ever gotten a chance to meet Stuart, but if you do, it is absolutely a blessing. He's probably one of the most humble leaders I've ever met, and it's been an honor to be a cohort with him in this Biggest Transformation Season 3. Well, we are officially graduates of the Biggest Transformation. Our season is officially over, and part of one of the opportunities within this season is to be here with you and to pour into the next season. Something that Stuart mentioned was about the supplements. You mentioned that before. And I know that for me, while I step on the scale every day, I wouldn't necessarily write down the numbers or track it. But there's something that I started doing that I can see. I'm a visual learner. I love to be able to see things right in front of my face. So on our family calendar, I write down my weight each morning. Give tracking visually on your calendar a shot to watch the scale move, because part of this is really about learning your body, right? The water now probably is, I would hazard a guess that this gallon of water, for those of you who weren't water drinkers before you got into this, it might have been HUD. Oh my goodness, I'm waterlogged. It's so much water. Well, let me tell you that your body needs the water. It's gonna help your body flush out whatever toxins. It's gonna help with sugar cravings. If you ever feel like you're like, oh my goodness, I feel like you're feeling a strong pull towards some food, or maybe you're triggered emotionally about something. I understand that, you know, if the way that you manage your stress in the past was with food, and you're no longer giving yourself that option, when you get triggered emotionally, you'll feel those pulls towards those, maybe the sugary treats or the salty snacks or whatever. Go drink water. Go drink 8 to 16 ounces of water and allow that to pass. Once you get your stomach full of water, it satiates you, and you don't have to worry about, you won't even have room for the sugary treat after that. And so, speaking of treats, now the way that this plan is designed, that after each 5 pounds, you earn a planned treat. I don't like calling them cheats because it makes it feel like a diet, and you can't cheat on your lifestyle, right? I firmly believe Carmen's example of turning this into a lifestyle, a paradigm in our vernacular, is the key to making it to your end goal, your right size body, your best version of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. So with your treats, plan them. Not the, oh, I popped that M&M in my mouth or whatever, I'll call that my treat. Honestly, psychologically, that's not doing yourself any good, right? Because you've done it on a reflex. When you plan, just like you plan your food for each day or each week, when you plan your treat, one, it gives it more value. And you, like Trisha mentioned, taking your planned treat is so very important, because it keeps you from just picking up the random thing when you know what, I've earned this planned treat. I've been crushing it, getting all my water in. I've been working out like I'm supposed to. I've been doing my thing. And then you crush it on some store-bought sugar cookie? Come on now. You're going to make sure it is something that you really want and desire at the time you plan to have it. So there's a difference between taking a planned treat because it was situationally there, or you walk into the office and there's donuts, you're like, oh, I earned a planned treat, and you take that. But was that really what you desired for your planned treat to be? Or was it there and you gray zoned it into a planned treat because you'd earned it and it was a snack of opportunity? See, one of the greatest opportunities throughout this entire process is right here. 90% of success is mindset, and looking at this as a lifestyle change versus a diet. One is key and critical to making sure that you don't become a statistic. We know that so many people who change their eating habits for short-term results end up going back to old habits because their habits is deeply ingrained in what you've done. You've built your entire body based on the habits that you've had up until the 7 weeks ago when you started this process. So dig into changing the way that you relate to food. Dig into changing the way that you relate to exercise. Because if you don't love exercise, you probably heard Carmen say, I didn't like it. I was probably a year in before I even thought about enjoying it. And now I can't imagine my life without it. And I have to say, during this process and during the first 12 weeks, I went on vacation with my husband, and the hotel that I was in had group workout, and I freaking went to that group workout. And I'm like, who am I? I travel with the scale. Now look, there are so many different schools of thought as it relates to the scale, right? Don't step on it every day. Step on it every day. I'm telling you why stepping on it every day is so powerful. See, the scale is a number. It is a tool. It is information. And when you willfully avoid the scale, I don't know about you. However, when I was much fluffier than I am now, I couldn't tell you how much I weighed because I thought the scale was evil when the scale is not evil. It's just information. So now I'm able to take that information and apply it. I know how what I eat the day before affects my weight. I know how I work out affects my weight. I know how much my sleep affects my weight, because each day I have that data point to track. And that's all it is. The scale isn't good or bad. The movement isn't good or bad. It's either moving in the direction of your goals or not. And you get to choose whether or not that what you put in, water, exercise, and food, supplements, obviously, to determine the output that comes up on the scale. So I trust that the information that Trisha Stewart and I shared with you this evening was valuable, and that you took some nugget that you can apply and you think about when you think about maybe just, it's okay about measuring, or I hope that I got enough in, or a little bit more won't hurt. Remember, hope is not a strategy. This is a plan that has proven results, and all you have to do is work it and stick with it. So now we're going to go into our topic for the evening. Now that you've heard about the gray zone and you've got 7 weeks under your belt, I want to know, what part did you think was going to be hard that actually turned out to be pretty easy?
I thought that exercise was going to be my hardest thing. Exercise to me was a silly thing. That it was, my husband likes to exercise. I thought it was just his way to get out of the house for a while. But I really have found myself enjoying the exercise, enjoying going for really good long walks, and challenging myself to do better, to make it in shorter amounts of time, or with the weights to do just a little bit more weights. And I am just absolutely loving that part of it now. Whereas I'm like, we'll figure the food out and then I'll be healthy enough to work out. And no, I'm loving it.
Good job, Stuart. That's my mentor, just so you all know. That's my guy. Good job, Stuart. I know him. Okay, so I'm gonna be nobody get mad. Nobody get mad. Let me be honest. When I found out it was all chicks in our season and no dudes, I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard. I don't like confrontation. I don't like drama. I don't like bleh. I was like, no, where's the guys? I want men. So that was that when you said that was the first thing that came to mind. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome. Like, we have such a cool sisterhood in this group, and we can talk about things that I don't think we would talk about in front of the dudes. And we all have gotten so close. And every single girl in this group is phenomenal and have like changed my life in a different way. So I am ecstatic that this group was put together exactly the way that it is. And I'm glad there's no stinky boys in our group.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa.
And everything else has been hard. So but that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh my goodness. Jennifer Strickland, go for it.
So I don't know, the thing that I thought was going to be really hard, and it has proven to be a little bit challenging, but not as hard as I thought it was. I actually did not complete the last step of joining the challenge because I was really afraid, being in Uganda and starting this challenge there, that I was not, I was like, how in the world am I going to make, post-show fit into my diet? And because there's limited food, but we actually had more options than I had noticed, realized before. We've been there several times. So it worked out okay. Thankfully, Wendy was there with me. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat. With travel, it does take some serious planning. But once the planning is done, once you just like lay out all your containers for the trip, fill it up with what you're going to do, write it down and have it planned, then it's just a matter of just pulling out your stuff and going. So I just got here just in time to get in this meeting from a weekend trip that we pulled off. And it turned out pretty good. I have to figure out how to get everything into the 12 hours whenever I don't have total control. So some lessons learned there, but it's turning out to be a lot easier than I expected.
For me, I thought the exercise part, well, the food doesn't bother me. I'm a super food eater for 21 years. So I thought that the exercise was going to be easy, and it turned out to be the challenging part because I had been down with a major surgery. So I didn't realize after the 8 months of physio how bad a shape that I still was in. So, but it's all good.
Hello, everyone. Nikki is my mentor. She's amazing. I know. Thank you. You know what was really hard is so many things that were hard, I think, but for me, it was specifically in priority was not having my evening glass of wine. Like that was the hardest thing to kind of be like, wow, I'm not going to be able to have that. But it really wasn't that hard. I think filling it with other things was good. Even working out every day, because I did boot camp 3 days a week. So trying to figure out how am I going to get in these 6 days was, hard. But I'm glad that I was doing boot camp along with it because I missed the group aspect of it. So I'll go to boot camp, but then I'll still continue on my own. But I think the main takeaway for me is just how strong your mind is. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard. And so what I thought was really wasn't. It's fine. Like do I want some wine? Yeah, but I'm good. So I think it's a whole mindset thing, and that's the biggest change that I've made is really building my mindset on things that I can do. Like I got all my food in by 4:30 today. Oh my God.
Yes. All right. That's what's up. Good deal. All right, Paula, you're up next.
I thought the hardest thing was going to be follow through, because I've always done a diet, started and stopped. So mentally in my head, I had already saw myself starting and stopping. And then I'm very familiar with Beachbody, and I've taken the products before, but not how you're supposed to take them. And it was like an off and on thing. And so I just kind of already saw myself or was already telling myself, I'm not going to be able to take these supplements. They're not going to work. And I was like, no, Carmen, I'm not going to take the Energize. No. But now I'm like already taking like the whole packet. So, the easiest part for me is following the plan. I've said this before, but I watched Carmen for 7 years be successful. So I was super excited to get in this coaching with her. And I was like, I'll do whatever she says. And so I just been following the plan and what she's been saying to do. And it's been working.
I would say by far the one thing that I thought was going to be the hardest was getting all my water in 128 ounces every single day. And that for me, I do love a challenge. So as far as drinking all my water, not only like filling I have 2 64-ounce containers and I fill them to the top. So I'm always over my water. And I remember in the beginning thinking, okay, between Energize and Recover, and then hearing, no, that's not part of your water. That's actually a drink. I was like, oh man. So, but to be able to do that. And then anytime I need, many times I go over my water, way over my water. So that has been probably my biggest, okay, that was not at all what I thought it was going to be. So absolutely a huge win there.
I have to say two things that were hard. When I started following the season 3 from Wendy, and I was seeing her transformation, and I would watch the videos, I was like, it's more than just the weight loss. There's more attached to it. And I was sensing it was probably emotions. Like I was just connecting these dots and listening to these people speak and share. And I'm like, wow, that must be, to me, that was going to be hard. And I think all the way up to the week 5, I felt like that was hard. But after that episode time, I feel so much lighter emotionally. It's easier coming into the group and sharing and just being real and transparent and all the cry, all the whatever that comes with it. But I just feel lighter emotionally. I just feel so much lighter. And then the number 2 part that was hard was just doing the prep, getting the prep, having these ideas, seeing how everyone was getting their ideas and recipes together. And I'm like, I'm just going to just keep it simple. I remember one of the mentors from season 3, I don't remember which one it was, but he's like, just keep it simple. Just, just keep it simple. Follow that list and just do what she says. And that's it. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's easy. It's getting easier. And there's joy when I do it. I have joy and I feel together. I feel like, all right, I've got this.
Sarah, you're up.
Awesome. For me, initially, I thought the food was going to be hard in the sense of I thought I was going to be starving all the time. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I still have another container to eat. So that, and it's like, just making sure that you had enough to eat mentally was, and nobody talked about that, but that was my initial fear was like, because I've been on those diets where you're like, okay, the food tastes like crap and you're hungry all the time. So that was surprising. I'm still struggling with the water. I need to go live with Jen and figure out how to drink water and not live in the bathroom, but I'm getting there. So anyway.
Hello. All right. So for me, it was definitely the containers, like the complexity that it just seemed so complex to because I calculated we get 17 containers a day, right? So there's 4 veggies, 4 protein, 7. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much to keep up with, right? That was my thing. And then we travel quite a bit. And I'm like, how am I going to do this on the road? And we went to Florida last month. And I thought, oh man, this is going to be such a struggle. And don't get me wrong, it had its challenges, right? It wasn't simple, but it was much easier than I thought it would be. And we've gotten so used to these containers because my husband and son are doing this with me. And now we've got a bowl of containers sitting on the counter and everything gets measured. We get it straight out of the pan. We put it in there, we measure. And it's just been crazy. And it's just so simple now. When in the beginning, I thought there is no way I'm going to be able to keep up with all these containers and remember what, and really track these. But it's actually been okay. And now we kind of enjoy it. It's almost like a game. Like, how many containers do I have left? I've got all these marked off. I've still got this left. And so we're always talking about each other's containers. I'm like, how many you got left? Looking over at one of theirs. And so it's kind of been fun, but I was really concerned about doing that long term, right? Because I'm like, I know I can do it for a short season, but is that really doable long term using these containers? But now it feels like, even just 7 weeks, it feels kind of second nature to just have these containers and use them. So I thought it was going to be hard, but it's really actually way easier than I thought it would be.
To hear everyone say that there was something that they thought was going to be hard, it ended up being easier, especially as it relates to the containers. It seems complex, but once you actually implement it, it's so much easier than you might have thought, because in your mind you thought, oh my goodness, this is too complicated, I can't do this. But remember, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way you're right. I don't know about you, but I remember thinking as we're going through this process, some days it's like, I can't eat another thing and I've got 2 more containers. What was I eating before? Really, what was I eating before that I could stuff myself and still be hungry and continue to gain weight? And now I'm fueling my body with nutrient-dense food and feeling great and not feeling hungry or deprived. Let me tell you, drink enough water. I'm just saying, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, to pour into you, to share some best practices that worked well for us, to allow us to enjoy and not suffer through our season of the biggest transformation. You're doing amazing. You have got this. We are rooting for you. through the lives and your seasons as they pop out. We're cheering you on in the comment section. And even though you won't necessarily see us unless you find us online, like, we are part of your crew, your biggest transformation family. Honestly, one of the reasons that Carmen doesn't mention weight loss in this is because the transformation is so much more than just your weight. Right? The transformation is in your relationship with your body, your vision for your future. Like, if you gray zoned or just kind of halfway any of the vision exercises that she's talked with you guys about, I want to encourage you to press into that, because how we see ourselves is how we act. And when you can see yourself as that fit version of yourself, the temptations aren't as strong. You're still early into your first 12 weeks, so you still have some of the old habits that you're working to overcome. So, however, when you see yourself as that fit spouse, mom, aunt, sister, when you see yourself as that fit version, you walk that out. You walk that walk and you talk that talk. So thank you for being a part of the Biggest Transformation family. Thank you for trusting Carmen with your time, your energy, and your efforts into your personal development.